All right, folks. So we, in getting started here with our metal casting career, we needed to get into some green sand because the lost foam method seems to be fine, but the void casting, or what I'm calling void casting, using green sand seems to be a little simpler, a little neater, and you end up with a slightly nicer casting, which requires less work after the fact. So to make green sand, the recipe we found online was 10% bentonite clay in a very fine powder, almost like baby powder, to 90% sand, which we're using play sand from Lowe's Home Improvement. So that should work out just fine. I got online, I was looking for the bentonite clay, and it's pretty expensive in this powder form. I thought, well, so how are we going to get to that? Well, we found a video online that said, hey, if you get this cheap cat litter, make sure it's unscented, make sure it's clay cat litter, which is very cheap. I think that bag was about $4. You can grind that down into this powder form. So I thought, well, hey, that's the way we want to go. So I got my clay, and the first thing I did was try to grind it by hand using a 2x4, and that works if you stick with it long enough. But to get this bucket, you're probably looking at, I don't know, 2 weeks worth of effort. So being the lazy guy that I am, I didn't want to do that. So, of course, hopefully everybody knows what kitty litter looks like. So you got to get from this to this. All right. So the manual method, while effective, was very labor intensive, and I am very lazy. So I went to Walmart and got myself this $10 coffee bean grinder by Hamilton Beach. Nothing really special about it at all, other than it belongs to me. Alright, so what you do is you take a kitty litter, and you notice it's got a fill line on the side. You can probably see that. Kind of a common sense thing, don't overfill it, right? So I'm going to fill it about halfway. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and do a full shot of it. Alright, so this is a small grinder. It'll do, I don't know, about half a cup, I suppose, at a time. Alright, put the lid back on there, and basically I like to angle it around, let it do its thing. And you can kind of hear when it's ready. I like to go a little extra. I figure you cannot over grind this stuff. You want to get to a baby powder consistency so that you can mix it in with your sand effectively. Alright, so that seems to be pretty good. Give it a few taps, and I'll work the lid off here very carefully. And as you can see by the puff of dust, you should be wearing a mask of some time when you're doing this. And you can see that we now have baby powder-esque powdered clay. So this shortened our time down greatly. I don't know, I guess I spent probably an hour and a half or so doing that yesterday, and ended up with this 1 gallon pail of powdered bentonite clay. I guess it's bentonite, it's clay anyway. So we will mix that 10% by volume with play sand, which is super fine, and that'll have our green sand. So there we go. Easy peasy.